So as we continue on from the Renaissance man ideal, the ideal we're striving to reach, well, we've done mind, and now we're on the body. And the body is sort of the other obvious half to the equation. Obviously, we should train our minds, but why body? And it's such an oversaturated topic in the self-improvement sphere. Everyone knows it. It's the most absolute basic part of improving your life is having a regular exercise routine and sticking with it. Strength and conditioning usually. And obviously we know that's true, but it's still good to reiterate the basics and hold those basic truths to us, because sometimes we get complacent, and that's okay, because I've suffered that myself. It's like, well, it's become such a part of our daily routine and habit that sometimes we forget it's actually really important, and we should probably repeat how important that is and exactly why we're doing it in the first place. And so the Renaissance man builds up his body. He develops his body every day. Why? What's the point? Well, there's three main reasons I see as anyone can agree upon as to why you would want to do that. And the first is we want to live long and healthy lives. Because there's the idea that when you reach 70 or 80, you just suddenly deteriorate and become bedridden, and you lose your mind, and it's all downhill from there. And of course you decline, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can choose not to decline. You can choose to take care of your body all the way up until death. You see especially in tribal populations, you see people who are 80, 90, and they can climb trees because they never stopped. And if we never stop, we can live long and truly healthy, happy lives, even towards the end of our life. And that's why we want to do that. I always think how much of a dream it would be to be fit and healthy enough to play with your grandkids. Just imagine that. That is a gift that not many people will ever be able to see. And that is really a big motivating factor. Train so you can play with your grandkids. And I'm sure that will drive you forward. And the other reason that sort of relates to that social element of it is we want to be healthy and strong enough to serve the people around us. Of course, it's good for our own body we feel good, and we're happier, and we can move more easily, but we have others that we have a responsibility to look after. We have brothers, we have our parents, we have friends who rely on us to help them in physical labour, maybe moving out, and all these sort of small things you don't think about. But it's always good to be strong. There's always people who will need your strength in their life, and people who will look to you as a part of that. And if we train our body and strengthen ourselves, then it becomes, it's not a problem. We don't even have to think about it. It's just, yeah, well, I can do this, and you don't have to worry, and it's okay. And eventually you'll have, maybe even now, you'll have a girlfriend, a wife, you'll have children, and these people rely on you for being somewhat strong, at least emotionally and physically. You need to be a rock for them. You need to be able to defend them if it comes down to that. God forbid, but it's you who needs to be strong. And if you are strong already, it's nothing to worry about. You can handle yourself, and you can help others and protect them if you have to. And the third reason is relating back to the mind. Your strength and your body, the health of your body, is intrinsically linked to the mind. And a lot of people think, well, I don't want to waste time in the gym because I'd rather be studying or focusing on learning. And that's good. That's a good intention in a way, but it's mistaken, because if you don't train your body, then you just won't feel right. It won't sit well with you. We're humans. We need to move. That's in our nature. And if we move a lot and do exercise and strengthen our muscles and technique and allow those physiological changes to happen as they would normally, well, that's good for our mind as well. It's intrinsically linked. That's why the greats like Da Vinci, I'll mention him a lot, and Plato, they were athletes as well as scholars. And you can have both. It doesn't take a big time investment at all. And of course, they're so intrinsically linked that you need a healthy body for a healthy mind, and a healthy mind almost for a healthy body. It's that important. And so those are three compelling reasons I think there's no argument against that, to really not develop your body and to spend at least a few hours every week focusing on that. So what do you do? Well, most of us probably have some sort of basic strength and conditioning session, program, sorry, throughout the week. And that's really a good starting point. There's so much information out there, vast wealths of information. And that will help you build a program to increase your strength, get good at the basic exercises. But of course, we can expand the horizons. There's more than that. You can do essentially anything you find fun and constructive. Maybe you like running, maybe you like swimming, maybe you're really into calisthenics, maybe you just like team sports like football or rugby or something. And of course, they will have their different physical benefits, but I'm just talking about in general that they are good for you, and they will help you grow and develop properly and have a strong, healthy body. Yes, there's benefits to each one. Some people would argue that some are worse than others, but I suppose as long as you enjoy it and can show up every day and love what you do, and it helps you grow and become better in at least one aspect of your physicality, I don't see a problem with that. That's a good aim, and it should be fun. It should be fun because it is fun. You want to show up and enjoy moving around and feel the high after from all the endorphins or whatever. You want to feel that, and you will if you find something that you truly love and you truly take all the elements from it and enjoy each one individually. Maybe you're not into team sports, maybe you just like playing ultimate frisbee or on your own even, or maybe you're really competitive and you want to find some sort of ultra fast paced sport like handball or something. It's really up to you. Or maybe you're just happy with strength and conditioning program, cardio once a week, the basics. But even that is so invaluable. And again, this is more obvious information, but it's still useful to reiterate it, and it's still good to know when you start out. People find it hard to exercise sometimes, and I understand that in the early stages. It's hard to get into that routine. But there are ways to go about it that make it so much easier. Of course, aside from choosing something fun, that's obvious. You're going to have fun and you're going to show up wanting more. But the important thing in the early stages is to just show up and at least put the effort in to do something, even if you don't feel like it. Because as you train your mind almost into showing up and being there and doing at least the smallest bit of effort, you're going to build that habit slowly. And it will take time and it will be hard. There'll be days where you just don't want to, but you can build that habit over time. Soon it just becomes part of your intrinsic nature. You don't even think about it. You just, okay, today I'm going to the gym at this time. I'll show up. You don't think about it. Oh, maybe I don't want to. Well, I'll go anyway. It'll be fine. And that is, in the early stages, that habit building is the most important thing, I think. And of course, it helps to have direction. You don't want to be going in fully aimlessly, because then if you don't have a direction, you don't have any meaning there's no meaning in what you do. So if you create some sort of rough plan to start with, it gives your actions more credibility. Let's say, well, I'm doing this because of this. I heard this exercise was good, so I'll do that. I heard training twice a week was good, so I'll aim to do that for 10 minutes every time, let's say. And you can set long-term goals and short-term goals. Of course, that might come later, but having that beacon of light to walk towards is helpful, and it keeps you going. It gives you a reason to wake up and actually show up every day. We love progress. It's how we work. It's how our brains work, and to have that goal in the future and in the short-term future, we need that. It's good. It keeps you focused. And the other really strong benefit is having friends who will do it with you, obviously. Everything's easy with friends. They'll keep you accountable. The shame of not showing up is horrible. How shameful is that? And maybe it's negative, but it works to bring you there, to get you out of the house and stuff. And there's no doubt that they make it more fun because they're your friends. You can talk in between sets or whatever. You can push each other to work way harder than you ever did before, and overall you just bond. It's how we used to do in hunter-gatherer times. Everyone went out hunting. It was just such an intrinsic and natural part of ourselves to do that. So why not replicate it in the future with modern sports and the gym and so on? And if you apply all these things, you'll eventually just start to feel the changes happening to your body and mind, and you'll just love it for that reason. A lot of people start lifting because they want to look more attractive to girls, or they do sports because they have nothing else to do, or they just love it and they grew up on it. But eventually, once you get into that habit and you're doing it for months and years, you just start to not even think about it anymore. It just becomes part of who you are. And you almost forget the reason you started, and you just lift because you love it. Or you do whatever exercise because you love it. And because you walk out every time feeling good within your soul. Of course, there's hormones and stuff you can argue is physical, yeah. But it just feels good for your soul. And if we can develop our body, it can help develop our mind, and the list of benefits from it is just vast. Like, we know this already. There's social benefits, physical benefits, mental benefits, longevity benefits, and we don't even need to discuss that because it's so obvious, and we would know that. And that is really, of the 4 things we're going to talk about in becoming a Renaissance man, the body is such a big one of them. I'd argue the mind and body are the 2 main ones, and then we have the 2 other sub ones which will follow on. And I hope that's convincing, because everyone says it. Of course it's convincing. It's obvious. It's such a key tenet of the self-improvement sphere and all that. So I hope I can convince you today to remind yourself why you do it in the first place. And maybe if you don't already exercise, hopefully I can convince you to go out there and actually start a program and actually just try something and see where it sticks. Because something will stick if you put the effort in.